it's just like being at home here with them. Yeah.
If how much my ass was going to get kicked in boot camp.
I could probably fire a Mark 48 machine gun if I needed to.
He taught me how to shoot a gun.
Stay for the end of the credits because that's at the end.
Yeah.
It's a very physical job,
Obviously, I know that this was a grueling shoot and you went through a lot of training. What can you do today that you couldn't do before this warfare journey started? What skills have you picked up?
Wow. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because what we learned was a very brief, sort of condensed version of what any real military personnel experience, right? So we might be able to have a better knowledge of how radios work and sort of terminologies and tactics, but I don't think any of us really have walked away being like, this is a skill I'm proficient at least me.
I don't think we've mastered any one specific skill, but there certainly have been more sort of, I guess you'd say, ethical and philosophical lessons that we've all learned.
Yes.
And things to do with character, things like this. It's very hard to talk about. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I love hearing about any time there's a film, people have to go through training, and your boot camp, 3 weeks long. Obviously, you're going to go through all the range of emotions during that time. Was there a moment of like pure elation during that time? Because you're going to accomplish and achieve things as a group. What was the most elated you felt during that time?
I mean, yes, and no. We had a lot of work. We had a lot of work to do. That was elating too. I think we all loved being at this job. We loved that acting had a real effective application, that our job could actually be shown to someone and they could learn about what happened to their life. It really was, we all wanted to be there, and so that was elating. But it was quite a, focused, locked-in group where we had a lot to overcome and a lot to learn. But there were definitely moments of elation. One thing I'll never forget is we had a moment night one, everything's kind of culminating to that, and we were moving through the house doing sort of all the training that we had done up to this point. And I do remember Ray walking out and kind of giving his like amazing Ray nod, and he was like, yeah, you guys look like SEALs. And I remember that was like, yes, that was huge. So yeah, little moments like that,
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. There wasn't really like any specific. I mean, that's one. There were so many of things like that.
Yeah.
Even when some of our characters showed up, some of the real life men that we were representing showed up. I mean, that's just. Yeah. It's a very unique energy that was surrounding the production.
Obviously, I know the shoots were grueling too. You were doing like long 5, 10, 15-minute takes in one setting throughout the day. Would you need some decompression at the end of the day? How would you kind of let it all go at the end of a shoot?
I don't think any for me. I don't think it's a case of like needing decompression. I just think certainly not because of the subject matter that's depicted. It was really a team effort and for everybody, and we the nature of the team sort of was this singular propelling force that kind of just kept the whole thing going.
Warfare mode. I'm ultimately fascinated by all of the prep that you guys were asked to do for this. I love talking to people when they have to go through a boot camp. Yeah. Because it's not a usual project. Do you think every film that you've done could be benefited from a boot camp, from camaraderie for the co-stars?
Mate, honestly, there is an aspect of that. Like, I think through that shared experience, particularly when it's trying and it pushes you both physically and mentally in the way that this did, it's really unifying. It's a great way to develop organic camaraderie and kind of galvanise a team, and it was integral to us, both from a sort of technical standpoint and I think in terms of developing sincere, genuine bonds with one another.
In terms of like building camaraderie amongst a group of men, and like sometimes cheeky, is there sometimes like hazing initiations that take place? Anything that you can laugh about together?
There's all sorts of silliness amongst groups of boys. The silliest of them all just walked past me. And you know, in a strange way, I think like our culture as a group of actors started to sort of imitate, you know, the kind of what I understand to be the experience of people in the military community, because you know we began to rely on levity and camaraderie as a sort of antidote to some of the more kind of serious and intense things that we had to do, while maintaining at all times respect and reverence for the process and the story, which was sort of greater than all of us, needless to say.
I know you've been in kind of war movies before and military movies. Is there anything that you can do today that you couldn't do before we started this warfare process?
Yeah, I've been in one before called War Machine, which was also quite kind of critical of war, and I think I think this is even more of a sort of anti-war film than anything I've been involved before. So I think that there were things that I went through on War Machine in respect of adopting the role of a leader that definitely served me, and also gave me an idea of how much my ass was going to get kicked in boot camp. So that was nice, and the thing that I really appreciated is I could see the bonds that we were developing coming. I knew I was going to get really close to these guys, and that was going to form the foundations for what we got on screen, and sure enough, we all became like brothers.
Hey, how's this? Just kind of catching up with, I guess at this point, best friends, besties, how's it been?
It's been great. This whole press tour has been like reuniting with everyone. It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah. I've been asking everyone this. What can you do today that you couldn't do before this whole warfare process started?
I can, it's a good question. I can probably fire a, Mark 48 machine gun if I needed to, I suppose.
That might come in
I'm not
handy.
sure why I would need to, but there you go.
You never bloody know.
You never know.
I love obviously the idea of you guys going to boot camp, but it sounds like you got so many stories from it. What was the moment during that 3 weeks in a boot camp? You obviously have to do so many tasks, and you go through grueling set pieces together. What was the best moment of elation that you felt during those 3 weeks? What was your biggest high?
It's a good question. I think maybe when we first sort of, honestly, I mean, even before the boot camp, on our first night together, we all shaved each other's heads, which was a real bonding experience. It kind of like prefaced everything that was to come, and yeah, it was really kind of beautiful, actually.
I love the idea that you have these two directors who have completely different skill sets, but they've come together. How did you find their collaboration? Well, like, were they talking to you in tandem, or they have different roles when they were talking to you? How would you find it?
It was seamless. It was like the two of them worked as one. They both played to each other's strengths. They're both geniuses in their own rights. They didn't really work in tandem. They both had an immense amount of trust with one another. That if one person gave one piece of direction, then the other person would agree with it, and the other person trusted. They trusted each other to make the right decisions. So. Yeah.
Did you have a memorable piece of direction that you received during any of the set pieces online that's like really is stuck in your head? Or either of them?
Honestly, one of the things that Alex was really good at was being able to read us and knowing what to give us, whether it be encouragement or anything else. And there was one moment where I think I was doing something that was difficult, and I was getting frustrated with myself, and he kind of just came up to me and said, "It's great, you're doing a good job." And honestly, that was kind of all I needed for that, and suddenly I kind of had this new rush of energy and confidence.
That's the nicest part, is reuniting with everyone, I think, and seeing everybody, it cleans up well, and yeah, that's the nicest part, and the press tour is just good fun, and to celebrate the movie is it's great. It's really
great. I mean, we got so close to this, and honestly, I think everybody knew the assignment, showed up, poured their heart out into it. Blood, sweat, tears, everything, and to
And now we just get
see
to
it, like
have a beer and
be made and come out, and people are
talk about
like,
our war days together.
yeah, our actor war days of sipping cappuccinos.
Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing about the 3 weeks that you guys had to do as the training. And I know that was it like day one you all had to shave your heads together?
Yeah.
We didn't have to, we decided to, but yeah. I mean, we mostly all needed to buzz our heads just for authenticity to the
It was
film.
so long, and I did it day 2 because I couldn't see anything, and I was like holding a gun, and I was like, I feel like an idiot. And yeah, I shaved it, and Ray was very impressed. So that was cool.
Was that one of many, and was there any more like hazing or initiations that you guys did together, like to build camaraderie? Anything that you can point to, or even tell us?
Dinner. We had dinner. We did 100 Navy SEAL burpees.
It was kind of like a men's retreat in a way, where like we were very competitive with each other. We'd push each other to work out harder, to do one more push up, one more set, one more rep, whatever it was. But at the same time, we were all very supportive and loving of each other. And,
That's true.
Yeah, it was like such a.
But I do remember, I remember doing a bench press and Evan being like, "One more, man." I just went, "No, no, not one more." Yeah,
okay,
that's it.
Never mind.
But like we all really looked after each other because it was, it was a tough film. We had a great time. Yeah.
When it came to competing in the gym, naturally amongst the drummer lads, there's going to be like someone claiming for that alpha position. Who had everyone's number?
There's one person who thinks they're alpha, and it's
Charles Melton.
yeah.
But he is pretty cool, and he is pretty strong. So
He is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But who is alpha?
Nah, that's another question.
I mean, it's this guy, obviously. No, I don't know. I'd say I don't know.
Can't tell. I don't know. No, everyone knows, man. There was none of that. Like it was. How do we bring this back? There was none of that. It was great. We loved each other.
We love Charles. We give him a lot of trash, but he was a great leader. One of the leaders, Will and Charles, kind of led us through a lot of good workouts and stuff. Honestly, we were all very motivating each other, and everybody there really wasn't any sort of alpha mentality, which was also really cool and special. Like when we showed up day one, as you were saying in a previous interview, like you were nervous, I was nervous too. You're showing up with some incredible actors, wonderful guys. You don't know how it's going to be with 13 guys staying in a hotel together, but like everyone really left their ego at the door.
No, totally.
Like,
that was really, really apparent as soon as we started filming.
it was special.
It was great.
My final question I've been asking everyone is, what can you do today that you couldn't do before all of this process started with warfare? What's a new skill?
I'll answer yours if you answer mine. What do you think I could do? This guy can shoot a gun really well.
And you could shoot before. So
but you learned really well how to do
I taught Evan how to love.
He did.
And he taught me how to shoot
Stay
a gun.
for the end of the credits, because that's at the end.
Beautiful, guys. What a note to end on. Thank you so much for your time and joining tonight, guys. Appreciate you.